as billionaires like Schultz continue to campaign on the pretense that they are self-made, we must use the opportunity to point out that all billionaires accumulated capital on the backs of others. We must make their false strength the weakness that it is. There is no self-made billionaire. Every billionaire on this planet is a parasite. What is a parasite? A parasite is something sucking the blood, sucking the energy, sucking the food, the excess food, and sometimes not even the excess food, out of another body without working for it. It is okay to accumulate a few $1,000,000 based on your effort over the average working person. But by the time you start to accumulate billions and billions and billions and billions, you are sucking the life out of an economy. You are sucking the life out of people, whether you like it or not. Do you think a parasite knows that it's bad? Do you think a parasite knows that it's evil? No, it does not. A parasite is just existing. A parasite exists. That was its social and biological order. That is what it was designed to do. Our economy sets billionaires up. It sets itself up to allow the creation of billionaires, and it feeds on itself. Let's go ahead now and talk specifically what he had to say today on Morning Joe, because it is so dangerous. Mr. Schultz goes on Morning Joe and he said, they asked him specifically, why don't you run in the Democratic Party so that you don't bastardize the election pool? And if within the Democratic Party, because you're a pretty progressive guy, supposedly, in the Democratic Party, the person that most represents what Americans want will actually win. He claimed he doesn't want to do it because both parties are just bad. They are no good. They're over. And he said, look, the Democratic Party has turned into a left-wing party. The Democratic Party wants Medicare for all. Please, Mr. Schultz, don't you want Medicare for all? He said he believes that healthcare is a right for every human being. And you know what? Deep down inside, I believe that he believes that. That's why when he ran Starbuck, he made sure that all his employees, including part-time employees, could have health care. He was a good guy. I had Mr. Howard Schultz in very high regards. Why? I went and paid for his overpriced coffee because he was a good guy. Why? Because he took care of his people. That is the reason I supported him. But when he got into the billionaire class, it is clear that he's fighting what they want and fighting what he knows is right. So he says, Medicare for all is going to be too expensive. But he knows math. The fact of the matter is simple. If you have a system that is not taking care of all the people right now, that costs more than any other country on the planet, and you do the numbers and you remove all the expenses out of that system, meaning there are no more executives, there are no more advertising costs, there are no more duplicate databases, there are no more people in the healthcare offices that are continuously, that you have to pay to call different insurance companies. All these inefficiencies are removed from the system. It is definitely cheaper. Even the study done by a Koch brothers consortium found that insuring all the people in America would cost less than we're doing now, which is still leaving 30 to 50 million people without insurance. People to listen to Howard Schultz and all the billionaires say that Medicare for all would be too expensive is saying two things. One, America can't take care of its own because it's too expensive, so we are okay with letting people die. If you are saying you cannot afford health care for all, it says that you are willing to let the sick in your country die. That's what it says. He then talks about the dislocation that would occur. All these people that would lose jobs. We don't keep a healthcare system because people would lose jobs. But HR 676 actually takes care of the people who would lose jobs in the insurance business, in the healthcare business, because it becomes more efficient. So Schultz talking about having healthcare for all being too expensive, he knows it's a lie. He has to know it's a lie. He knows math. They all know math. Medicare for all cannot be more expensive than the system we have today because it does not have all the relevant cost of the system today. And every industrialized country in the world knows that. Private healthcare insurance and private healthcare by design is more expensive. The reason they don't want that is a lot of the billionaires on the planet, that's one of the way they make some easy money. Remember I said they're parasites. Billionaires, parasites. Billionaires, parasites. Why are they parasites? They are making money off of your sickness. They're skimming money off of your premiums. That is a parasite. There are no two ways about it. That is a parasite. Let's get that. We have to take the shrouds off of thinking these billionaires are great people that somehow earned what they have. They did not. They are parasites. Now, the second issue he came about talking, the Democrats are doing crazy things. They want to give free education. No, it's not free education. It's education we all pay for to make sure that people get paid. Look, folks, it is important for us to understand. It is important for us to take the shroud off. Thinking that somehow billionaires or somehow good people or somehow deserving or somehow have a cut above you. No, what they are able to is extract more from you than others would. The fact of the matter is when he says we cannot afford free education, guess what? We used to. Education, college education, university education, at one time used to be virtually free. When I came to the United States in 1979, in-state tuition at the University of Texas was $4 per semester hour. For foreigners, it was 10 times that amount, $40 a semester hour, because we constantly cut taxes so that we can create more billionaires, so that businesses can be more profitable, and that profit not shared with its employees. That profit goes straight up to the top, to the billionaires. That's why you have a lot more billionaires now, because we no longer take care of the average person. And then we have them crying when they talk about, oh, we can't afford Medicare for all because it means our taxes would be raised. Let me give you a kicker about tax. As it turns out, Donald Trump told all Americans, we are not going to raise your taxes. In fact, you're going to get a tax break. And yes, he lowered the marginal tax rate on many until they found out that the things that they used to be deducting, the electrician who could deduct his tools, the person who worked from home part-time can no longer deduct those charges for that office. When people start to find out that in order to give your money away to the billionaires and the multimillionaires, they took away all your deductions, the sales taxes that you could take, gone. The income taxes that you could take in states that had high income taxes, curtailed. Why? States that have income taxes that take care of their people generally are states that are paying more into the government that they're taking out. Now these welfare states are asking them to take even more. Folks, what I need you to do, folks, is forget about everything that these billionaires are telling you. They are running for election now. They're running now because of one important issue. They realize that Americans are waking up. They realize that when Elizabeth Warren says, you know what? You know why these rich people say there are not enough rich people to tax their income so that it will make a difference. They're true. They're telling the truth because they're smart. No longer are they collecting their monies like income. They're collecting their money like capital gains as they keep their fortunes. So Elizabeth Warren saw the racket. Elizabeth Warren says, okay, what we're taxing now is we're going to tax 1 or 2% of your net worth, of that money, of those over $50 million, that is. In other words, your first $50 million, and who needs $50 million? But your first $50 million is safe. We won't touch it. You will always have that $50 million. But anything over $50 million, as you continue to hoard capital, as you continue to take capital away from everybody, because remember, that capital is not really yours. That is the excess labor. That is the excess work. That is the excess intellect from everybody. You are accumulating that. You say, oh, well, that's a profit I made. No, that's a profit your employees made. No, that is a profit the employees of the company whose shares you own made. You didn't make that. You are just accumulating that. We have an economy that does not know how to give away worth appropriately. We have an economy that allows those with capital to steal. And Elizabeth Warren is saying one thing. We are going to change that. We are going to tax it where it really counts. We are going to tax wealth. And then people say, oh, we've never done that in the United States. How can we tax wealth? That's a lie. But you know, the wealth, they don't want you to tax that kind of wealth, the billionaire type of wealth. But they don't mind saying, well, property tax. Guess what a property tax is? A property tax is a wealth tax. You have a house that's $200,000 and every year you pay a certain percentage of that, and it's not 2%, a certain percentage of that you pay. That's a wealth tax, because it's on capital, your house. But you see, everybody has a house, right? So the billionaires don't mind that. What they don't want you to touch is a capital that they can hide. They don't want you to touch a capital they can hide overseas. They don't want you to touch a capital that they have in stock. But it's no different than you having to pay a property tax on your home every single year. But you see, that hits the middle class. They don't mind hitting the middle class. And since their home is such a small part of their value, their vast wealth is in all the other things. And again, don't feel guilty going after it, because their wealth is your work. Their wealth is your worth. They are parasites.